Hello and welcome to the Chisel Mod Spotlight. We're going to get straight into this. There's 32 types of brick, and the first one is called cracked, looks like this. Next one we've got weathered bricks, looks like this. Then we have cracked bricks, so a more cracked version of the weathered bricks. Then we have wide bricks. Now we have the first one, which shows a connected texture, and that's encased bricks. So however large you make this structure, there'll always be this perimeter here. Then we have braid, which is vertical bricks. Arrayed bricks, so a higher density of bricks there. And we have big tile, and you'll notice here that there's a border, and this will also have a connected texture, with the border always appearing on the left hand side, and this lighter border on the right. Then we have small tiles, very uniform, that one. Then we have disordered tiles, and small disordered tiles. At this point I should point out that when you replace another one of these blocks, these ones that are just single blocks that I've placed here, it will literally put the exact same block down. And which is not the case for, say, dent, where you can see it's creating this box. It's very similar dent to big tile over here, especially in terms of the way the connected textures work. Then we have French 1, which is noted for having this box here. And we have French 2. And you'll notice with French 2 is that even though it's just a single block, so it will be the exact same block, there is almost like a quasi-connected texture effect, because this will connect up with this on the on the block above it. And we have jelly bean. We have layers, and then here's mosaic, which again you can see it's going to have like a border around it. And then we have ornate. Now here we have panel, and then we have road, which also looks a little bit like, with the square thing in there, looks a bit like some of the French ones. We have slanted, and you can see there's actually, for these ones, there's actually two different blocks here. So there's this block, and you can actually see like that these are actually different blocks, but of course when they put them together they look exactly the same. And it's actually quite clear if you look with zag as well. You can see that we've got like a light corner here, and here we have a red corner in this one, but obviously when you connect they all work. Now this one is interesting, circular, because when you place a circular down on its own, it will just look like this. But when you place it in with connected textures, it will form the square like this, with the internal being the white there. And the same is true for the Celtic one. When you place it down just as a one block like this, it will just be a square. But once you place it down in connected texture, you'll have this complex linking pattern. Then we have trodden bricks. Now for these ones, these are even more interesting because there's actually more variations than just the two that we saw before. So this, I would imagine it's something like about 9, but I'm not entirely certain. But there are certainly a lot more variations. So each of these blocks is actually very different. And especially with cuts, I messed around with a lot with cuts, and I realized something, that with cuts, you get a lot of different types of block, but wherever you place them in the world, that will remain the same. So it doesn't matter which block you place them onto. It's like if you knew about flowers in the past. If you ever looked at any of these old flower forest videos, when you bone milled a certain patch of grass, the same flower would always grow in that spot. So, I mean, as long as the flower did grow, of course. So it's similar to that sort of thing. Then we have just bricks. Then we have circular. So this is just this is a way that we can use without the connected texture. So it will just be that block again. Interestingly, the Celtic block does not have this variant. So if you're going to place Celtic blocks, you don't get you have to use the connected texture one. You can't just do the separate one, which would just be the square. Then we have tiles, and we have pillar, twisted, and prism. So that is 32 blocks, right? So 32 different textures that we can use. Now, some of the other blocks have got a few more, and we'll go into them momentarily. Okay, so here we have the temple block. This is the cobble variant. We have the plate. We have the cracked plate, which has got a few different textures. These are damaged bricks, and this is the mossy variant. All of these are available in the mossy temple variant. So this is just one example here of the damaged bricks. Then we have the column, the stand, the creeper stand, and the mosaic stand. Here we have some brownstone, which is another block which is added. This is a bisected, and here we have a half weathered big tile. And this is obsidian in the Greek style. We have a Greek capped plain pillar. This is ice. You can see it's transparent, like ice should be. And we have the plain capped Greek pillar. We have the Greek capped Greek pillar. And then for marble, which has the most variants, we have the decor capped Greek pillar and the scribed pillar as well. Here we have another block which is added, which is water stone. And we have lava stone, limestone and marble and basalt. And all of these are available in the 32 variants. The 33rd variant is small bricks. This is also available for a large number of blocks. Now for cobblestone we have a couple of further options which are embossed and indented. For glowstone we have a few more options as well. We have bismuth, bismuth tile, bismuth tiles, neon and neon panel. There's also the addition of iron bars which can be chiseled. So we have the frameless bars, the frameless topper, the barbed wire, the thick cage, the thick grid, the thin grid, ornate and straight. Incidentally, by the way, there's for these blocks as well that you can also get coal and coal coke and charcoal, and they're all added by the mod, and you don't actually need to have a mod which has got coal coke in it, for example. But finishing off the iron bars here, we've got spikes, classic, classic thin, the fence and the modern fence. There's also a variety of blocks for metals as well, and again you don't need to have those for them to exist. You won't be able to get them, of course. But anyway, we have caution. This is just aluminum we're going to use here. Caution, shipping crate, thermal, an old relic from the land of 123, egregious, bolted, and scaffold. There are additional blocks for certain types of metal, mainly the vanilla metals. So this is diamond. We've got purple space, we've got black space, gem, cells, simple, bismuth, crushed, and gold encrusted. Yeah, there's a few more with regards to iron and gold. So for iron, we've got tiny gears, riveted plates. Here we have coin heads, coin tails. You can see different patterns on the top of the block. We have dark crate, the light crate, the moon, the cart, and stars. There's also this block, which is the Valentine's block. So we have the pink marker, the grey rocky, the pink heart, the pink rocky, the pink tile, this one, and pink studded, flame, and pink steel. Now here we have concrete, acts much like the other blocks, but it gives you a little speed boost. And then we have the masonry block as well, which is another one for emerald and lapis. Also we get a few different types of wool added by Chisel. So we have, essentially we have the regular carpet and the llama carpet, and we also have it in the actual carpet form as well, and that's also connected texture. So you can see here we have white and orange, magenta, light blue, yellow, lime, pink and grey, and that's in the legacy carpet. And with regards to the llama carpets, we have light grey, cyan, purple, blue, brown, green, red and black. So here we have the different types of plank now. So we have smooth, we have planked, we have fancy, we have a nailed panel, a nailed large, crate, fancy crate, large, vertical, uneven vertical, and braid. You may recall braid from the stone types. Blinds, scaffold, you may recall that from the metal types. Disarray horizontal, disarray vertical. Also a range of bookshelves. We have rainbow, novice necromancer, necromancer, red tomes, abandoned, hoarder, brim, historican, cans, stacks of papers, and there's also this paper block, paper wall block, which we've got in a box, horizontally striked, crossed, six-pack, vertical, horizontal, flowers, plain, and door. There's a few different types of obsidian blocks as well. We've got like the crate block, it looks very different. We also have chunks, and we have organic chunks, shiny, map eastern, shows more on the top surface, and the map western. Also got this the cloud block, which has got a very unique one, which is called vertical bricks. You can see it's also a transparent block. Now with regards to glass, they come in 6 variants. We have the panel glass, the framed glass with slightly thicker rim, fancy framed, so it's just a thick rim all between each pane, streaked with no frame, the rough, and finally the brick. Not only those glass types, there's also a load more, which are actually nothing to do with the different coloured glass, but just the chisel glasses. So not only are those glass types in, there's also a load more. So we have bubble, Chinese, Japanese, dungeon, light, grey bordered, ornate steel, screen, shell, steel framed, and this is an anti-block, by the way. So this comes in all different colours, and it's just got a nice border around it. That's the steel framed, and you can see the stone framed, slightly different colour on the frame. Streaks, again no border, thick grid, thin grid, iron fence, asymmetrical leaded glass. The iron fence tells you that a lot of these are actually similar to the iron fence textures. Right, so we've done a load of lists now, and so we're going to take a little break from that because it is quite a lot of stuff to do, like over and over, like going through that. I want to look at this thing, factory block. We're going to get onto those blocks. We've got like all the cool blocks to go, right? It's like factory, it's like Tyrian, it's like, you know, future block. All loads of cool blocks left. But I want to show you something very cool with this particular one. So this is a connected texture, right? But here's the thing, right? This is cool enough as it is, right, to have something like this. But if you take a look at this thing, the Ender offset wand, take a look at what this can do. This can actually change. This is really cool, right? So if you have a huge wall of stuff like this, so this is something which is sort of the future, I would imagine, of Chisel Mod, being able to do this sort of stuff. So you can literally make it go. It's almost like a keyframes and animation and stuff. Super cool that. We also have the chisel itself, which you might have wondered. So here's actually, maybe I'll just show you in the chisel. These are like some really cool blocks, right? And I think it's like you can sort of see what they might look like. Rather than just doing what I was doing before, just going through the names of each one. I think for those blocks it's important, but for stuff like this, I can still go through them all, right? But these are more visual. These are more going to be used, and I think the I've done like all the important blocks in terms of what you really do need to do. This is like the fun stuff, right? This is the block, by the way, the caution frame plates that I've been using. And you can see there's various different blocks here. Glowing vent, scaffold. This is the one we've got, the massive fan. Hexagonal plating is often very cool as well. Mega cell battery. So yeah, so these are like the blocks really, and then we have and then. But yeah, so these are all the different types of chisel. So we've got the eye chisel, which is this, right? So if we get, say, a Futura block, you can see that these are the different types of Futura block. You can see there's one that looks like an ME controller, various different screen blocks. This is the auto chisel. So you can, it doesn't need power, but power makes it go faster. You can see it's going to turn them into different type using the durability of the chisel. You can also left click, for instance. So you can see I can go through all the different types of block. I think I actually remember this particular one. So this one is called cables, right? You can see it's got connected textures. For instance, we've got Tyrian as well, which is a very popular material. Lots of cool textures there, right? Voidstone, right? Voidstone is pretty cool. You can get some of these funny, like these different coloured Voidstone, the runed ones. Primal is cool, right? But a lot of it doesn't do connected textures how you might expect. This one is called the Eye, I believe. Yeah. There's different variants of that. You get a lot of cool stuff with Voidstone. There you can see the different coloured ones. There's also these blocks as well. Like the sandstone is fairly standard, right? But there's also these scribbles block as well. So the scribbles blocks, I believe, are available just for regular sandstone, right? So you can see there's various different hieroglyphs. We've got the skull. The skull block is also from the Voidstone. Waves, Eye of Horus, Halo, Man with Staff. A lot of cool stuff. Pattern 1 and Pattern 2. And another thing about this interface as well is that you can actually, it's actually quite good because you can move it around. You can see it hollow. You can see it in various different do a lot of stuff with this, right? So for instance, if I put it on that mode, when I left click here, watch, it will change the whole lot. You know what, maybe I should have just done this from the start. That is pretty cool, actually. Anyway, that's all. Goodbye.